Did I do that?
It's a rare condition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page. Love and tradition of a grand design, some people say, is even harder to find. Well, then there must be some magic clue inside these gentle walls, because all I see is a tower of dreams, real love bursting out of every seam. As days go by, we're going to fill our house with happiness. The moon may cry. We're going to smother the blues with tenderness. When days go by, there's room for you, room for me, for gentle hearts, an opportunity. As days go by, it's the bigger love of the family. That's the theme song to Family Matters, written by a guy named Jesse Frederick. Family Matters is, of course, a sitcom from the 90s that was on during the TGIF block, Friday evenings. Family Matters had a special character that everybody remembers named Steve Urkel. And in the 90s, they released a pull-string doll of Steve Urkel. And I got my hands on one of those. He was broken and a lot of just grease and dirt all over him. I cleaned him up, repainted him, painted him as a Juggalo, because that's what I do, because I am Shovel of Precious Juggalos. I paint things with Juggalo faces, like this guy. This is a video of me painting an Urkel doll. Stick around. You'll enjoy it as we discuss Family Matters and other things, and you get to watch me paint a thing. Here's a look at that Urkel doll when I first got him. He was so dirty. His suspenders were all stretched out. His glasses were completely broken off and missing, and his pull string was pulled out. But I could see the future Juggalo within him. So Family Matters debuted on ABC Network September 22nd, 1989. Urkel himself didn't show up until episode 4, which premiered October 13th, 1989, and originally he was only intended to be in that one episode, but it immediately became apparent to everyone that Urkel was the actual star of the show. Here now is just a taste of that original episode.
When my dad said you fixed me out with Laura, why, I thought I'd wet my pants.
Instant classic, and I remember watching it myself on the very first night that episode aired. Steve Urkel was, of course, played by Jaleel White, who was only 12 years old when he first became a overnight success on Family Matters. I remember watching him and feeling very connected to his character, as I'm only just a couple years different in age, and I was very much a nerd at the same time. In fact, I would say I'm still very much a nerd, and I'm proud to say it. So to get back to the action that's actually on the screen now, if you can't tell already, the face paint that I've decided to go with for this Urkel is Shaggy 2 Dope. That's why I affectionately call this one Urkel 2 Dope. Shaggy 2 Dope is, of course, one of the founding members of the Insane Clown Posse, a horrorcore hip-hop group out of Detroit, Michigan that, oddly enough, started in 1989 as well. Shaggy 2 Dope has a track called I'm Not Alone on one of his solo albums, where he also discusses how he is a nerd as well. So we're all nerds around here. One interesting thing about Family Matters as a series is that it was actually a spin-off from another program that was also on TGIF called Perfect Strangers. And if you're a huge Perfect Strangers fan, you might remember Harriet Winslow was the elevator operator in the same newspaper office that the main characters worked at. And one day, her husband Carl Winslow, a Chicago police officer, played by Reginald Vell Johnson, who was coming off of a big premiere in Die Hard, also playing a police officer. Well, one day Carl Winslow visits his wife Harriet, and everybody enjoyed it so much that they thought, let's make another show and call it Family Matters and make it all about Harriet's family. The family, of course, was their son Eddie, their daughter Laura, and then a younger daughter named Judy, who completely disappeared after season 4 and they never spoke of again. Classic sitcom fun. So sometimes when I paint my pieces, my Precious Juggalos, they get very, very detailed and I need extra help seeing them. So I bought this thing. Remember when I said I was a nerd? This is what I look like when I'm painting. And if you might be interested in watching me paint, I live stream every Monday through Friday right here on YouTube from 4:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And it's always a good time. Everyone is welcome. The chat is generally very active. Everybody's welcoming and kind. And yeah, stop on by, pop into the chat, say hello, and just watch me make things like this, my Urkel 2 Dope. It's always fun. And I like to call myself the Bob Ross of Juggalo face painting, in that I remember a time when I could just turn on Bob Ross and just relax, forget about whatever was stressing me, and just escape for 30 minutes or an hour. And that's what my stream is meant for. If you just need to take a break from whatever's got you down or worried, check out one of my streams, and we'll definitely make your day a little bit brighter. So I finished painting the face of Urkel 2 Dope. I also added a hatchet man to his stonewashed jeans. But now I needed to address something that was really bothering me. The suspenders, where all the elastic had just worn out, so they were just hanging limp and loose off of his shoulders and just not looking the way they were supposed to. Also, his hair had been scuffed up quite a bit, so I was just repainting his hair black. So, fun fact, when it comes to elastic, I thought I would just go to the store and there'd be all kinds of different colors, but all I could find was black and white. So I had to dye my own elastic to be blue to somewhat match the original suspenders on the piece. Was it perfect? Nah, I don't think so, but it was better than nothing. So in the end, I did two things that I never really do too much of. I hand-dyed and I hand-stitched something for this piece. So that makes me like cottagecore or something, right? Am I cool? Right, guys? Am I cool? Guys? So back to interesting things about Family Matters. Did you know that when it first aired, the theme song was actually Louis Armstrong's What a Wonderful World? Until it was later changed to be As Days Go By Jesse Frederick, as I said before. Also of note, Jesse Frederick wrote the theme song to Full House. That's why sometimes you might get those two songs mixed up in your head. I know I do. You know, speaking of family matters, another family that matters would be the Juggalo family. The Juggalo family is, of course, made up of fans of the Insane Clown Posse, but also just fans of the genre in general and fans of being fans, it seems. The Juggalo family is really a group of outsiders and DIYers, and sometimes it feels a little punk, sometimes it feels a little metal, at all times it feels weird, but it also feels welcoming and warm. That's what family is. So back to the screen and what's happening on it. Right now I'm coating the head and face of Urkel with Mod Podge. That's a protective coating that'll make the paint a lot more durable so it won't scratch or rub off. I'm also still stitching in those suspenders. I'm not really much of a seamstress, so it was a bit of a struggle and I had to redo and undo and redo a couple of different times to get it the way I liked it. But I think in the end it was very much well worth it. I also took the extra step of tucking it into his pants in the rear like the original ones were. I don't know why they don't have clips on the rear like they did on the front, but I do what I can to try to make it look appropriate, and I think I got it. So another interesting fact about Jaleel White, the actor that portrayed Urkel in Family Matters, he was also the original English language voice of the popular video game character Sonic the Hedgehog. I bet you didn't know that. Now, as I wrap up this video, just like you're seeing me wrap up the creation of Urkel 2 Dope, I'd like to say, first off, thank you for watching. If you could, please give a like to this video, subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed what you saw, and you could also leave a comment on this video. Leave a comment about your favorite part of the video, what you think of Urkel 2 Dope, or what you think about Urkel the character. What do you think about Family Matters? What's your favorite episode or moment that you recall? Or anything from the TGIF era. It was a big one, and it changed my life. I'm sure it changed yours as well. Here's a final look at Steve Urkel, Urkel 2 Dope. You can see the hatchet man on his stonewashed jeans, his new suspenders. And here's how they looked in the rear after I stitched them in.
Did I do that?
And how about Just a nice look of Urkel Too Dope right in front of that TV screen. It almost looks like it could maybe be Stefan Too Dope. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, thanks for watching.